Hey, what's up you guys? I'm Sara Lubratt, and today's writing vlog is going to be kickstarted with a hike, and then we're gonna get more into, editing and working on draft 5 of my high fantasy project. So without further ado, if you go on to enjoy this video, I would really appreciate it if you could give it a big thumbs up because that really supports my channel, and subscribe if you haven't already. And now without further ado, let's get into today's adventure writing vlog.
From what little I've seen of this area so far, if I ever wanted to buy a house in Utah, this is the area that I might actually want to buy a house in. So that's new. I don't know if you guys can hear me because I'm sitting next to the river, but I found myself a very large rock to sit on, and I'm gonna sit down and have a snack. I am about 1.4 miles into my hike. I don't know how totally far I'm gonna go. I know that it's probably about 2.5 miles to get to the waterfall at the top of this hike, but I could go beyond that. I'm not really putting any pressure on myself, which feels really nice. After hitting the reservoir, it got very easy and like very adventurous feeling because the scenery like totally changed, and then I was in the trees and there was a river, and it's a lot flatter than getting up to the reservoir was. But now I'm gonna sit down and have a snack. I do kind of feel like the only thing I'm missing is like 5 pages printed out of my book or something so that I could be editing while I'm eating a snack up here. And I wish that that was something that I had thought about, and I wish that I had access to a printer, because I think that that would make this like the perfect day if I could like work on editing like 5 pages while I was on my hike, like taking a break or something. And I had that idea while I was hiking, and of course not before. But now I'm thinking that for the future, I might have to try to do something like that. I do want to say that I went into this knowing how long my hike was, or how long my hike could be if I wanted to do all of it. But then I went in with like no pressure. I just wanted to see the reservoir. Anything past that was a bonus. And that's how I really seem to excel with my goals, because that's how I won NaNoWriMo twice, by having the goal of 50,000 words in a month in mind, but then kind of keeping it light pressure on myself and not forcing myself to like do a certain thing, but like having the goal and just keeping it low pressure. So that's what we're doing today, and it's going really, really well. I'm in the butt kicking part of this hike though, because we are just going up rocks. This is definitely a challenging hike for me, especially where I'm at right now, but I'm at like 1,300 feet of elevation gain, which is absolutely amazing. I've only gone above 1,500 twice in my life, and I think this one might hit 1,500, and if it doesn't quite, I might have to go a little bit beyond where I'm going to hit the 1,500 feet of elevation gain. And while I'm breathing really hard and like I can see my breath, the weather is like perfect for this. I am breathing really hard, but I keep having moments of like, I love my life. I'm on the way back down now. I didn't film very much at the top there because it was so slushy. I was like very concerned because I kept sliding. It was quite steep, so I had a couple times where I slid a little further than I was comfortable with. But now we're on the way back down. is now 7:53, as you guys can see and saw in the last couple clips. The sun is setting, so I'm very glad that I decided to go at the time that I did today, because oh my gosh, that took me a while. But again, I also don't want to like push myself too hard. I am doing this for fun and not trying to like beat any records or anything. It's just me out there having a good time. However, this I think was officially the longest hike I've been on ever. And it had a reservoir, which I'm gonna call like a mountain lake. It was the same gist. You follow a river up the whole way to get to a waterfall at the top. Those are my 3 favorite things to see on hikes, and this one had all 3. So it took me about 4.5 hours to do 5.6 miles, but that included all of my breaks to look at all the gorgeous views. And it was cool to see how much the terrain changed as you went up, but also it was really cool because it starts out very green and then it gets snowy. I did 5.6 miles and an elevation gain of 1,670 feet. There's somebody right there. Making this one of my tallest hikes ever, if not potentially my tallest hike ever. Guys, this is, or maybe not my tallest, my most elevation gain. That's crazy. That's crazy. So is my hair right now. Life is good. I'm just sitting here driving back, just yelling that in my car. Life is so freaking good. It's so good. It's so good.
Last night after I got back from my hike, I went down and I ate dinner in the hot tub, which was a lovely experience. And then I ended up meeting people in the hot tub, and so I stayed in the hot tub until like midnight, and thus did not do any writing yesterday, but I'm now about to go, the mountains. Stunning. But now I'm about to go drop my car off to get serviced. Okay, so apparently my car appointment isn't until next week, so now I have my car, and I don't know what to do with that information yet. Well, good morning. I have not talked to you guys in several days. I was kind of dealing with something and decided to prioritize dealing with that over my hiking practice and my writing, which is perfectly okay. Still want to say that hike that I did the other day was one of my favorites that I have done in Utah so far. It's easily in the top 3, and I think I know what other 2 hikes were also in the top 3, but I have that one as like by far my favorite hike that I've ever done. And now that things have gotten a little bit more under control, I wanted to start up the hiking and the writing priority again, because again, as awesome as goals are and as awesome as intentions are with wanting to take really good care of myself, taking care of myself also includes several other things, and this past week I have needed to prioritize some of those other things. But now I am sitting on the couch with my notes that I have taken on draft 4, at least the reread of draft 4 that I'm now applying to draft 5, and I'm looking at chapter 12 today. It is a relatively short chapter. It's about 500 words, and the first note is more needs to happen, or I need to blend it with another chapter, which is all very possible, but that is what I'm going to be working on today. It is much earlier in the day than I normally start on writing or anything. I woke up at like 8 a.m. this morning, and not intentionally woke up well before my alarms, because there is enough of a separation between the edge of my window and my blinds that this time of year the sun rises at just the right angle that it casts a beam of light onto my pillow that wakes me up when it is going directly across my eyes. So I have been up for far longer than I wanted to be up, but that also means that it's like 11:08 right now, and I have already done the majority of my work today. It's a very mild week, which means that I get to do this before I have an appointment this afternoon, and then I might even get to go hiking this afternoon. So I'm procrastinating. Let's do this.
I've spent about 30 minutes working on this chapter so far. I'm not done with it yet because I'm kind of rewriting it because the main note said that I needed to make it longer, and I had ideas on how to make it longer, and so I'm just basically rewriting it to incorporate the appropriate information into this chapter. However, I was realizing when I was writing it how strong the implication is of like, leave your hometown.
which is what I did. But I just thought it was kind of funny rereading it to see exactly how strongly that message comes across in this chapter, which I mean is a part of like the hero's journey. I don't know if that's like the plot that mine follows necessarily. I don't think it is, but that's like the kickstart of the hero's journey, is like having to leave what you're used to, which I just thought was really funny. I also misspelled the word small. Instead of S-M-A-L-L, I spelled it S-M-A-L-E. So that's where my brain is at today. But there was a highlight of working on this chapter so far today, and that was that I was coming up with character arc ideas for books 2 and 3. And that's so exciting because I haven't had like a ton of ideas for those things yet. I have the gist of plot ideas, but I haven't had like super certain ideas on like how to progress like character arcs and stuff in books 2 and 3. And so I'm having some of those ideas, and of course I'm writing them down because we do not lose ideas like that. But I'm feeling very good. I just finished up my appointment that I had. And so now I think I'm gonna check in with work, make sure that I'm good to like not do anything this afternoon, and then choose a hike because I've been looking at some lists to see which hikes I wanna do. And I have a couple potentials for today. And so I think I want to choose one and then go on a hike this afternoon, and then I will get to see one of my friends later this evening, and then potentially, hopefully, fingers crossed, get to do some more editing later because we're just feeling really good. But it feels weird with how much I've accomplished, and it's only 1:10 p.m. Today I want to focus on these 2 quotes on my writing motivation board. Don't call it a dream, call it a plan, and if there's one thing I'm willing to bet on, it's myself. I'm getting ready for my hike right now, and I'm having thoughts about my book that I wrote in high school, which I call Project LRF, and I'm realizing that one of the characters I thought was going to be an iconic character, but I think now I'm realizing how much character development I could put her through and how much that would benefit the book. I'm so excited to get back to working on that story. I know that I'm not there yet. I want to finish DE first, and then I'm using this as a reward. And so it's something that I'm working towards, which is just a healthy reminder and really, really fun that I'm having some of these ideas. But again, have to write them down so I don't forget them when I get to that point. It's been a few days since I talked to you guys, but when I last talked to you, I didn't end up finishing that chapter that I was working on, even though it was really short because it was one that I had to completely rewrite. So that's basically what I'm going to do tonight, is definitely finish that chapter and then try and see if maybe I start on chapter 13. I do leave town tomorrow, so I kind of want to put myself in a good spot because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be able to work on this for the next like 3 or 4 days, which is perfectly fair, and I'm very excited for what I'm going out of town to do. However, that means that I can't work on this, which is perfectly fine. I have not written in a few days though, and so how I want to start my writing session this evening is rereading my notes that I have on my wall that are right in front of my writing desk that I took from Brandon Sanderson's writing class online, and it's all of the things that I wanted to apply for draft 5, which is what I'm currently working on. So that's how I'm going to start. I officially just finished rewriting chapter 12. It started at 531 words and I ended up with 1,141 words, which means that I doubled that chapter, which is perfect because now I think it's much more effective. A lot more happens in it. I think it's a much better length. Oh, and I get to do a little check mark next to it. I am feeling really good about the chapters that I have combined and deleted and edited and rewritten so far. However, again, the first half of this book I think is going to be easier to edit than the last half of the book, which is not great. But again, I have to get through the first half to get to the second half. I do think that because I leave for the airport tomorrow, this is where I'm going to stop vlogging tonight. So with that, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you could give it a big thumbs up because that really supports my channel. And without further ado, I will see you guys in my next video. Talk to you later. Bye.